I love haters. I love them all. I love them all. I wish I could hug them all. So yeah, this is gonna be real quick. I meant to touch on this earlier, but let me see if I still got this in the email. Oh, here it is. Nearly half of fair all blacks fair USAC. Are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me. Nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll. That's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. All right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to black America because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist. That's the only outcome. It makes no sense to help black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. And there we go. Fair USAC, fair USAC. You didn't expect that today, did you? But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can. That's my recommendation. And I'm also really sick of seeing video after video of black Americans beating up non-black citizens. I realize it's anecdotal, and it doesn't give me a full picture of what's happening. But every damn day I look on social media and there's some black person beating the shit out of some white person. I'm kind of over it. I'm over it. Right? So I quit. So, nearly half of all. Hundreds of newspapers dropped Dilbert comic strip after racist tirade from the creator, Scott Adams. What's up, Nerdy Blue? Yeah, man. Yeah, man, that's Scott Adams. And I meant to talk about it, but had other things to talk about. I had to talk about earlier. Like I told you guys, I'm going to be creating content on this page because the Welcome to HDiiTV page, they're doing everything in their power to just shut that page down. Now, people have come on my page and called me a racist before because I call pink folk out on their bullshit. And what I mean by that is I don't have a problem with white people, Caucasians, pink folk, whatever name you got for them, wet dogs, the crackers, anything you call them, right? But
They're so quick to say why. You see, now, so the whiteness of wealth probes why Black Americans pay higher taxes. Chances are, if you're a white taxpayer in the United States of America, you're getting a better deal than Black Americans. That's according to a new book called The Whiteness of Wealth: How the Tax Impoverishes Black Americans and How We Can Fix It, by Emory University tax law professor Dorothy Brown. She writes that the United States tax system has long favored white Americans, effectively reinforcing and creating a staggering racial wealth gap. Born and raised in the South Bronx, Brown says she's dealt with racism her whole life. She decided to practice tax law in order to pursue a career where she thought race and racism had nothing to do with her work. Okay? Now, I read that first excerpt to tell Scott Adams this. I think that's his name. Is that his name? Scott Adams? Let me see what this honky's name is. Black folks,
nearly half of
yeah, Scott Adams. Black folks, we're not racist. We're not even prejudiced. We're just mad as hell. We not racist or prejudiced. We just mad as hell. Because every day we have to teach our kids, we have to teach our people to look both ways when crossing the street, to watch out for police, never be by yourself walking home, because that could end up you being, killed, arrested, what do you call it? Profiled incorrectly. Blacks, we're not racist or prejudiced. Now, are there some blacks that are bad, some bad apples in our group of people? Absolutely. There's some blacks who will rob from you. I always tell this story that we had a next door neighbor, black kid. He psychologically was dealing with things, and he would steal from us every day. He would just come over, steal something from our house all the time. But he was mentally messed up. My dad went over there. My mom went over there. He was mentally messed up. So he probably had mental issues, mental health issues. But the problem is that Mr. Scott Adams, who is the creator of Dilbert, his comic strip Dilbert, which I used to read when I was younger, also when I was in college, has been dropped by 100 newspapers because of his tirade. And this is what I call accountability. My problem with white America is you guys don't give a shit about the impoverished state of blacks. Whites, honestly, they have, I think, more people in poverty. But the media, which I call multi-ethnical destruction in America, doesn't show you that stuff. You know what they show you? They show you DeAndre. They show you Sean. They show you Christina. They show every black person in the world being in a impoverished state, not just in America, but in the world. But there's a lot more poor whites than us. There's a lot more whites on welfare than us. But do you know what they aren't getting compared to us, they're not getting taxed as much as we are. We're getting taxed way more. Way more. Way more than any race in the world. Then you have the blacks who are very blind to everything. What's up, Matt Mizzle? And then you have blacks who actually think that everything is fair. This is what I laugh in their face. I'd be like, you think everything's fair? Well, I got a good paying job. Oh, really? You got a great paying job. Okay. This goes out to all you black men and women who make six figures. How many of us do you see in them jobs? How many? How many of us do you see at the board of director table? You know, who's around the CEO, who helps the CEO make the decisions of the company? How many? How many of you who work for Walmart, UPS, or FedEx, how many blacks do you see in a group of people who are your bosses? How many? You don't see that much. And see, what Scott Adams don't understand is, you say you tried to help us. Have you tried to go to Congress to change the laws? Which says in the not say, but said in the Constitution that we're 3/5 of a human being. Have you gotten that changed? Have you asked them to stop calling us African American and start calling us Black Americans, or just Black, or just calling us Americans? Have you gone to Congress or gone to the state laws and asked them to change the wording in a lot of the constitutions and a lot of the laws? Oh, there they go. They messing with my page because it's the truth. I'm asking you, have you asked them to? Then you got people who say, all they do is complain. All we do is complain. All we do is complain, right? Complain. Express dissatisfaction or annoyance about something. Also, it can be used as a state that one is suffering from, a pain or other symptoms of illness. So we complain. So now, racism, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. Right? That's racism. Racism is the process by which systems and policies, actions, attitudes create inequitable opportunities and outcomes for people based on race. So the United States is racist. And we've been saying this for years, but the thing with Scott Adams is Scott Adams thinks, we don't know what we're talking about, correct? He's tried to help us, but I haven't seen him ask to change the laws. I haven't seen him do anything, right? He hasn't. Now, let's look at something. Exactly, Nerdy Blue. He ain't do shit. But yet he's trying to tell us he did. Now, salaries and wages are the largest source of income low and middle income taxpayers in 2017. They constituted over 70% of adjusted gross income, or your AGI. For taxpayers with AGI under $100,000, but less than 20% for those with AGI over $10 million. Wage disparities are particularly striking when comparing the earnings of women of color to those of white men. The medium annual pay for a Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman working a full-time job is about 40 to 45% less than that of a white man. Now, Asian, Black, and Hispanic people each have larger shares of full-time workers earning poverty level wages than white people. Among all people with at least some income from wages and salaries, white and Asian people report higher averages than Black and Hispanic people. The share of white people reporting any wage income is somewhat lower since a larger share of retirees are white. Now, let's look at this. Average income from salaries and wages by race or ethnicity. Now, Asians, of course, are at 73%. They basically make $70,000 or more. Whites are at 66% with 60,000 or 419. Now, Hispanics are at 77%, which is at 41,000. That's the average income and salary wages they make. Blacks are at 39,000. Black workers experience higher unemployment rates and lower wages than white workers at every education level. And this has been since 2017, between 2000 and 2018 to now. You understand what I'm saying? White families hold almost every type of financial and non-financial asset at higher rates than others. Disparities in the value of corporate stocks and business equity, which generate a large share of total net capital gains, are even wider. White families' holdings were 3 to 4 times higher in median value than those of Black and Hispanic families. You understand that? So basically, publicly traded stocks, or you could say net equity in privately held businesses. Blacks are at 7,500. When it comes to publicly traded stocks, net equity in privately held businesses, we're at $27,700. Hispanics in publicly traded stocks is at 11,000, and Hispanics are at 30,000 when it comes to the net equity in privately held businesses. Guess where whites are at? Whites are at $30,000 in publicly traded stocks, and net equity in privately held businesses at $100,000. So, excuse me, Mr. Scott Adams. There's nothing that's saying why we're not. How are we racist? You're saying we're racist, right? But why is the system catered to white Americans? Why is the system worldwide catered to white people? The majority is you guys. So you're saying is you're basically trying to create a false claim without any context to it. Blacks have no problem with whites. We don't. We don't give a shit about y'all asses. We really don't. We don't care about y'all. But the problem that we have a problem with is the system that has been constructed to continuously rob us of our money, rob us of our pension, put us in poor environments, impoverished states, taking away activities that will help young black men and women, or excuse me, black boys and black girls strive to be great. You're afraid of us. Your whole society has been afraid of us. You guys make everything you guys do everything in your power to keep us against each other and to continuously promote one side of our color, which is my skin tone, while you desecrate those that are of a darker tone or a browner tone. And you've been doing this for a while. So, Mr. Scott Adams, shut your bitch ass up because you don't know what the hell your dumb ass is talking about. Blacks are not out here beating white people up every goddamn day. Now, are there some that beat up a white person? Most likely. But that's probably somebody they knew, or they probably seen them and was mad that day and so happened a white person was there. We don't know the whole story. You're just making assumptions and conjuring up different type of scenarios to make that bullshit you said out your mouth sound great. And it sounded so great that they kicked a lot of your shit off of the newspapers because they know what you are. You and your people have been doing this to us forever. Y'all have created a system to keep us oppressed, to keep us down. You guys moved it from the cotton fields into the business world. You guys make sure you have at least one or two of us at the table surrounded by a bunch of white people and probably 3 or 4 Asians, probably 2 or 3 Hispanics. You have torn us apart. We have no togetherness. You see, they don't fear Hispanics. They don't fear Hispanics at all. They fear us. That's why, Mr. Adams, they continuously put things in play to keep us at a cap, at a certain level. You know, and that's sad. You know, but does that make me want to go out and kill a white person? No. Because that white person, it's not their fault that they're put in a position where they succeed. Now you have some whites who say, oh, I struggled, I'm on Section 8, I do. Yeah, you are, but at the same time, when you're not being taxed or you're being and you're able to get your income at the job you're at, whereas a black man, we get paid less. And it's just the facts. And it's sad. But they don't care. And they'll never care. And then they have black couples who pay a higher tax penalty for marriage than white couples. And they do. And see, they got all this stuff out here, but whites don't pay attention to it because you know why? They don't give a shit. They don't. It's crazy. But see, this is the stuff that he does, the stuff that they do. Like, look at this. Researchers found that among couples hit with the marriage penalty, black couples paid less in dollars, $1,804 versus $2,091, but more as a share of their income than white couples who are at a 1.8% versus a 1.4%. When researchers specifically focused on households with adjusted gross income between $50,000 and $100,000 under the tax law in effect, they found 59% of black couples faced a marriage penalty versus 51% of white couples. Black couples paid about $150 more on average. Only 33% of black couples got a marriage bonus compared to 44% of whites, and those bonuses were roughly $170 smaller on average. Taken together, black couples in this income group paid on average a net penalty of $358. White couples in the income group received on average a net bonus of $61, the report noted. The researchers found a similar pattern among most other income groups. So, Mr. Adams, let me ask you again. Why do you think blacks are upset? That's why. We're getting taxed more. We're getting hit with more type of penalties when it comes to taxes, more than the white man. So, of course, Mr. Scott Adams, that, oh, well, we should stay away from black folks. No, y'all not. We stay away from you. We don't care about y'all, but you guys make it your business to F with us because you know you can. You know you can mess with us. And then you have more work ahead. It's not no more work ahead. The more work ahead is continuing putting your knee on our throat. You got a president who everybody was blindly loving, who's the most racist piece of shit in history, in Biden. But you guys love him, though. Y'all give him love all the time. It's crazy. People fall asleep or fall on that Democrat and Republican bullshit. Excuse me. It's crazy. And it's proof. So, and there's articles that's come out today that tells you that slavery, redlining in the Jim Crow era is evident today in wealth by race and ethnicity, according to Williams, Brown, and other scholars. Median wealth for white families is $188,200 compared with $24,100 for black families and $35,100 for Hispanic families, according to the 2019 Federal Reserve survey, the most recent available. So everything out here is telling you, Mr. Scott Adams, everything is given to you guys. You guys created this whole system. May not been you per se, but it's been a group of people. You guys have got to stop getting mad at blacks and trying to blame us for everything because your white ass don't want to get off your pink ass and go down to Congress and ask to get the laws changed, ask to take away the deficit that it is in the wealth gap compared to us and compared to you guys. You forgot about the Atlantic slave trade. You forgot about all this stuff. Oh, I know you forgot about it because you know why? Because it doesn't affect your bottom line. When it starts affecting your bottom line, That's when you bitch asses want to do something. So stop with all of this dumbass talk that you're making, because you're making yourself look stupid, and you're going to mess around and you're going to mess with the wrong person, and they're going to check your ass. And that's for real. So that's the problem. You know, it's sad, but excuse me, but it is what it is. You know. But yeah, appreciate y'all coming by. Just wanted to let you guys know that. And Scott Adams, you're a piece of shit, and you need to do your research. Don't just come out here and put something together to try to make it sound good for everybody when it doesn't sound good. You know, you sound insensitive. You also sound like we're the problem for everything being the way it is. Now, some of us are the problem as far as not getting off our ass, going to work, or saving that money, getting our business, all that stuff. We're guilty of that. But at the same time, sir, you're not 100% at all. You got to learn how to speak to people, not judge people. So, thank y'all for listening. It's the D's Report. I'm signing off. Peace.